Roll it, man. Come on, man. Let's roll.
I wanted to talk to you about the experience of being a footballer, but how it compares to the other teammates that you've both had in terms of what it's like being a black player in the United Kingdom and specifically England. You think it's different?
No, I don't think it's different being a black football player in United Kingdom personally. Reason I'm going on that because I started my career in Eastern Europe, and that's what I see the difference. My first game there, the chance was zigga 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 shoot. That was the chance, you know what I'm saying, and I was the first black person in the league. So then when you come back to, you know what I'm saying, the EFL, and there's black people all over the place, I don't think that the colour it hasn't played a role in mine. Do you know what I'm saying? My size has always been my talking point, not my colour, if you get what I'm saying. So for me personally, I mean, listen, we balled throughout the same the same era. So
I remember every time we played against him, it was, listen, don't try and fight him. Let him have the ball. Yeah. For me, it's a little bit different. I came through non-league. So like non-league it was tougher. It was harder in a way of, obviously, back then, say there's predominantly white players, and like obviously coming through, like playing with DJ Campbell and a manager called Johnson Hipper, like Drax. The team, he built a culture of all black players, to a black physio. And we were talking about this earlier about black goalkeepers.
Far and few between.
Yeah, why though? You know what I mean? Black physios.
Far and few between.
Why? And these are the things that you've got to start asking questions about. Maybe it's lack of education. Do black players want to be goalkeepers? Like, you know what I mean? Would you want to be a goalkeeper?
Hell no. Hell no. But see, like, I'm going to broaden it a bit more because from the top to the bottom, there's less black people. So that's just from the top to the bottom. So if there's no black people in the boardroom, and then there's no black people, not many black managers, so then why do we think that there should be many black physios? Because literally it's from top to bottom.
It's a generation thing, because like I feel like when are black people going to buy into a football club that are successful enough to buy into a football club, to want to run the football club and do it successfully?
I always say we should never be in the age where it's the first. We should never say, oh, that's the first black person, or we're going to be 2020. So that should have been done time ago, do you know what I'm saying?
Saying that, LeBron James has a percentage into Liverpool. I don't know how much that is, but does he want to get involved? Does he want to make decisions? Or is he just happy just being a shareholder, and it was an investment to say, okay, I invested here.
It's interesting that you mentioned someone in American sport like LeBron James, though, you know, in loads of different industries, not just in sport, though, famous black people, sometimes it's seen that they're used a little bit by the big organisations that run the sport almost. You saw Jay-Z go over with the NFL, for example, and they had a little collabo, and people thought that might change the dynamic and there might be less racism in American sport. But, you know, LeBron James speaks out and people tell him, shut up and keep dribbling. Like, there hasn't seemed to be a sports star that's really become so massive that they get a free shot at having their own opinion. They can't stand up and be themselves.
I think like you've got to look at the closest one that we've got in football is Sterling. I think Sterling is flying the flag for the race, because obviously he's been hit with a lot recently. And then you can again, Danny Rose again. He's an outspoken person as well about certain aspects, and I could go on.
And it's almost fine for Raheem Sterling to talk about race, but if Raheem Sterling were to talk about the powers running football to do with anything other than race, would they listen in the same way, do you think?
The elite players have to come together and say, right, enough's enough. Like, it doesn't have to just be black players. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah,
it's like
everyone forgets this.
This
you
is
know
what
I
I'm
mean?
saying. And this is where it's funny, because even that movement, Black Lives Matter, them doing that doesn't mean white lives don't matter. You having a campaign doesn't devalue from anything else. It's just bringing up attention because it's a problem. So it's not
narrows
just
it down, innit? So you can actually see it.
It's not just a black problem. And this is what I'm saying. You're as bad as the person that's doing racial if you're hearing it and not saying nothing. You're condoning it. You're blessing it. So
and that's I agree.
And
with
this is what I'm saying. So does a player just get used? there's a process in everything. You know, when LeBron James came in, he probably needed he needed them to get to where he gets to.
And then when you get to,
then when you get to where you get to, then it's time to make change. Then you come together, and that's where it is, because it is a process.
You've got to be a voice, innit, first, otherwise no one's going to listen.
You've got to do what he said, and it's the way I look at it now. It's especially over in America. I think. So I don't want to mush up my take. But in America, I've used the phrase of modern day racism is placism. So exactly where you say about, you know what, we're paying you this much money, so take that, be quiet, shut your mouth. This is what you're doing. Know your place. And that's what it is in the sense. Even the presidents, like these NFL players have got all this thing. And it's the same with footballers here. Whereas, be it Danny Rose, be it Sterling, the perception on the outside people is, take it because you're getting paid what you're getting paid. And that's the one thing I feel like, as soon as you put football in front of whatever it is, it comes with the job. Like, if it was a bank and somebody walked into the bank and started saying racial, the bank would get shut down and they would send them home. But with football, it's, it's blessed. You lot, it comes with the territory, you're getting paid.
You want a lot of money.
Exactly.
You want
that's
six
the
figures.
thing. That's my biggest problem.
So if someone's going to call you a black ZUNT, you should be happy with
that's
that.
My biggest problem.
You know what I mean?
That's my biggest problem.
But that goes back to my original question. I think that's why I made the point. Do you think it's different for black and white players? Because you guys talk about issues particularly to do with race, and then you get that reaction. Do white players who speak about race get that reaction? You know, if Harry Kane were to come out and say, and he has, after the events in Bulgaria, it's disgusting, it's disgraceful, no one says, all right, you've got money, you're rich, just take it on the chin, because it's not happening directly to him, it's happening to Raheem Sterling. Do you basically, does the average football fan see a Raheem Sterling come out and say, this is disgusting, that's disgusting, and treat him differently to a Harry Kane, in your opinion?
There's only so much that one player can do, like Sterling. Now, non-black to say something, and then obviously that non-black person, it has to be like a Harry Kane, it has to be like a Declan Rice, it has to be...
Do you think non-black players then will take it further than black players? Because then you are saying that white players will be more listened to than black players.
No, it's a coming together.
It's a numbers.
It's a coming together.
It's a numbers
game,
and
it's a power. It's all well and good. It's all well and good having 100 people walking down the street, but you have 20 of the elite walking down the street, and they're going to make a much bigger noise than 100. Yes, exactly.
It's like any campaign that you do, they always get people involved, you know what I'm saying?
So then if a couple of elite lads said, right, we're going on strike.
Let me say this.
Would you, as a professional footballer, would you go on strike?
Hell yeah.
Right.
See, me, I'm not part of the elite, but if the powers that be as a footballer, they was like, look, you know what? Next Saturday, we are not going to play. Yeah. I'm telling you now, we ain't going to play, and we're going to go down to the FA and say X, Y, and Z, this needs to do. And then they asked, I would do that, because that alone will be more powerful than any one campaign.
And in my opinion, that's the only way, because when you start messing with the money and start messing with everyone, it's a trigger. You know what I mean? It's a chain reaction.
If something's happening on the pitch and the players decide to walk off on strike.
If you're going to co-sign, if someone's in the crowd and they're saying monkey and start doing all of that nonsense, and someone's next to them and they're not even saying anything, they're co-signing that, and then this is my point. It's that it's deeper than just the pitch. It's deeper. It's
bigger. It's not.
It's not on the pitch. It's happening.
It's what I'm trying to say.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's a society thing.
It's not one person.
Yeah. So my thing now, like the elite have to try to figure something out, and it has to it filters its way down to, again, Wycombe, and then players that, if they're not playing, I'm not playing, and then if 3, 4, 5 players in the team, then the manager and the club have to make a decision of to back it or don't back, and say, okay, we'll leave them, we'll fine them. And it's that kind of how would it work?
It's about having the confidence to stand up for yourself, though, but also it's about support. As players, during your time, do you think you've had enough support to do something like that? Do you think players now would have enough support if they did choose, maybe not to walk off the pitch, because a lot of that has been said, but imagine if they went on strike. Do you think the Premier League, do you think the EFL, the PFA, for example, would be behind the players if they chose to strike?
110%. So I feel like the PFA are working with everybody now and players to try and get them to talk, because I feel like the players are the power.
I agree. I think the modern day, I think it's been talked about enough to, as I'm not going to be a cynic, but even if you didn't want to, you would have to.
Do you guys think if things stay the same as they are at the moment, we're heading towards the players striking?
It's a shock to the system because it's against the grain. So if the players, you know what, that's it, we're on strike. What do you do? What do you say?
Yeah. You shut down a Saturday.
Yeah, you think of thousands of football
me ask
fans
you a
from
question.
all the leagues.
Do you think if black players felt they weren't being protected and said to the rest of their teammates, and this is for every club in the Football League and the Premier League, the black players have had enough, we want to strike, that their teammates would all go with them? Do you think they would?
I definitely know my teammates would.
Yeah.
I know if I said to them, look, you know what? Nah, this is unacceptable. Right, they'll be like, listen, it's unacceptable. We're in it together or we're not in it. And that's what I feel.
But for you, you're a leader. You're a leader. Like, you know what I'm saying? Regardless of your size, you're a leader in mentality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're alpha. Captain or not captain, I'm a leader. You know what I mean?
That's it. So I'm a leader, I'm not a captain. Yeah. Now that's how, and I feel like there's different roles. I feel like a captain ticks all boxes. Yeah. I come late. Captain can't come late. And I've said this to my manager. And I'm being honest. And I've said this. I was like, Gaffer, I'm not a captain because I can lead. 100%. I've been that leader. I don't need an armband. I can lead. But a captain. But I put my captain on a pedestal.
While you're you can't move.
Big man! Big man! Don't smash your neck open. I'm talking with your neck.
Do you know what? It's interesting because we're talking about the culture in the dressing room. We're talking about respect as well. You know, as black people, there are some that use the N-word towards one another when in normal parlance, just talking every day. There are some black people that hate the use of the word. The younger black people and music and all that, we know the influence, they use it a lot. Yeah. Is that allowed in your changing room? Is it ever appropriate?
I'd be lying to say that it doesn't happen, because it does. But then it also, and we have real conversations, especially in my changing room. We'll have real conversations, and the white players be like, look, you know what? They don't even like hearing it. And you've got certain black players that be like, listen, I don't like hearing it. To be fair, it doesn't happen that much in our changing rooms, but the younger culture, rapping, singing, it's just...
I feel like that's a difficult thing. When there's a song on and people are rapping to it and they say the N-word, it's like, wait a minute, what you do? Like, is that acceptable?
If it was a white player rapping to the song, would it be acceptable?
That's my thing, like...
I've got this same. When my white boys are rapping,
listen.
If they're rapping, I'll look at them straight away. As soon as the light comes, and then they don't. Do you know what I'm saying? But then I'm not saying that, and it's bad. I'm not saying that if they're driving in their car and they're singing along to it, I don't think there's any malice to it. You're singing along to a song, but you've got to know what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. So for me in the changing room, that doesn't. There's not even like, they just don't.
This may help black players, it may help players who are non-black. Is the use of it by black players in the changing room almost putting a green tick beside it and saying that we use it, you can use it?
For me, it's a no-go area. You know what I mean? You can't be saying on one hand, racist, and then being...
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I disagree with the word you saying that. Say I choose to say, yo, what's up, N-word. Say I choose to do that. And then therefore then say, if a white person then turned around and said, oh, yo, B, man, what's up? That it's the same. How can that be the same? And that's my thing. My back. So that's why I'm talking about it. Like, the conversation's different if we say, you know what? Like, we've had this where, we've empowered it back. So we've taken it from them. We've taken it from white people from saying it to us. So we've taken it back. See, now that's a different conversation to have.
I've had
that conversation. It's ours now.
If it's said with an A, it's okay. Yes. If it's ER, wait a minute. We're going to fight. You know what I'm saying?
So I've had that conversation.
You know what I mean?
But in a sense where I don't think it's the same that if me and you say it to one another, and then if a white person said, I don't think it's the same.
I don't use the word. Like, I know it's like...
And I'm the same.
Yeah,
as I've gotten older. That's the thing is, as I've gotten older,
it's
I
one of
don't
them
say the
things
word.
now. I don't really say the word, even to my friends. Like, I've had a friend that has mentioned, well, he didn't say it, but Danny Hilton. And I don't know if you played against him. And
Luton one.
Huh?
Yeah, I'll punch him up bare times, bro. I owe him a punch anyway. just because he tried to get me sent off.
Hey, listen, he's a...
I can get punched. I can punch him up.
And he grew up in Camden. Like, and he grew up with a group of black friends. But common sense, you know what I mean? They played Barnet, and he said something to someone, go back to Africa. You know what I mean? And obviously, World War III. Like, I'm hearing black players taking off their tops. They have to be locked in the dressing room. But for me, he's my friend. I know this guy inside out. I roomed with him for 3 years when I was playing at Aldershot with him. And he's not racist. But at that current time, to say something like that to a person that don't know you, you're racist. And this probably goes to the same thing as Bernardo Silva, you know what I mean? And that scenario, like Mendy and Silva could have a great relationship.
But
with
you
each
got
other.
to know where. See, for me,
You can't do them
how
things
we
on social
talk-
media.
Exactly.
You know what I
How we talk, like anyone, how you talk behind closed doors is different to how you're going to talk. So if you do have that relationship where you banter, that's your relationship, and that's a private relationship. You got some Bernardo Silva. What he did, it was stupid. Like that. You know what I'm saying? Danny Hilton, what he did there, you know what I'm saying, was racist. Do you know what I'm saying? So he may not be a racist, but the act he did was racist because he knew it would make a maximum. That saying there, it's a go off. So that's you're gone off. It's not even a football thing anymore.
But
Do you know what I'm
I
saying?
make it clear, and probably Mendy would make it clear, Silva is not a racist, but he got caught saying a racist act. Same thing as Danny Hilton. Like, I will co-sign to say Danny Hilton is not a racist, but he got caught saying something. It's a racist act. You know what I mean?
Derogative manner straight away.
Justin, you're mixed heritage, of course. So what's your view on the use of the M-word in common talk between friends? And you mix with so many players, different cultural backgrounds as well. Do they all use it?
No, it's not a thing where it's like widely used all the time. Like, yo, what's up, my N-word? Like, it's kind of changed. I feel like it's more. Man will be like, what's good, G? Like, what's popping? What's going on? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, obviously, people are very aware of what it does and how it can come across. So it's like, yo, what's good, G? Like, what's good, bro, brother? Like, it's like every different culture can say that, and it brings us all together. Do you know what I'm saying? And if you take it and you just use it all the time, all that happens is you're just separating yourself and segregating yourself in a certain way. How I feel personally, do you know what I'm saying? For me, it's never been just a black thing. It's just that it's more like you're saying, more common. That it happens, or there's more black players.
Yeah,
so
that's what I think
it is. So it's seen more, do you know what I'm trying to say?
More black players than Jewish players.
And the black players that they're elite players as well, that racism is happening towards them.
You got to look at loads of stuff. Are fans doing it just to get under their skin? And is that person racist, or are they trying everything in their power to wind up the player?
Sometimes, you know, when you drive, I've had it, driving in my car, road rage,
yeah.
and the person knows the most thing they can get at me, and it comes straight away, is my skin color. It's because ultimately, you know, we wouldn't see somebody, and I think this is 90% of black people. We wouldn't turn around and say, "Oh, you what?" Because that's not.
Yeah, it's weird.
You know, it's
weird.
It's
It's weird. Yeah.
The first thing coming, you look at them like, oh,
Yeah.
My first thing, I'll look at them and no, do big nose.
Exactly. Do you know what I'm saying? So this is where it comes down to. Whereas they know the color thing is maximum.
Yeah.
Just don't matter what
Instant. You're gonna bite.
You're gonna bite. It's gonna hurt.
Do you think that's why football fans, and there have been incidents all over the world, but they've happened here in England as well. Do you think that's why football fans, a lot of football fans that have been caught, say I'm not racist, and their friends and families come out and they say he hasn't got a racist bone in his body, but they say in the heat of the moment he went down or he dived and it just came out. Is it like road rage?
Do you know what? It's because I'm gonna contradict myself, because you can do a racist act and not be racist.
Seriously, I have friends that have grown up with black people, and they will say something around the group.
Yeah.
It's okay, but when someone's not in that group, he knows his position in a way. He can't say that. You know what I mean? So it's on that person, if they're clever enough to realise, I cannot say this with somebody that I do not know beside me. You know what I mean? But
I will say that I don't think everybody that's said a racist comment at a stadium is racist. And it's weird because I think if you go to it, you're racist. Do you know what I'm saying? But I do think at the same time, I can understand if I want to get under your skin or if they want to get under my skin and there's certain comments which you know is going to get a reaction.
I think there are stages in racism. I think everyone is possibly racist and has stereotypes built in their mind because we all watch the same media. We all see the different stereotypes of all different types of people, whether that be their race or whatever factor it is about them that makes them slightly different. I think those things are built up. I think we could all possibly be racist, but we don't all incite racial hatred and we don't all send racial hatred to other people. We don't say things or act racist or discriminate towards other people, but we may know and understand those stereotypes. And I think that those things come to people's minds in those moments and they come out.
It.
But having a stereotype don't make you racist. And that's what I'm saying. So to that comment on everybody can be, we all can be racist, I get that. But I think it's the stereotypical view that gets built up because of you're a product of your environment, what we see on the media. Like, all playing, they say white people can't dance. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's a stereo.
Yeah. Black people can't swim.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I can't, so boy.
But that's my point.
I'm saying it's cool. You're just a product of your environment, product of what you take in, the mass media and that. Then it's that. It's then when you start using it, because we should all have that common sense of knowing when to start saying stuff where they'll say black people have fuller lips than white people, which is factual. Do you know what I'm saying? And then it's then moving on from it being factual to full lips to then using that into a derogative term. That's when it starts kicking in. So that's where I feel, I get what you're saying. I think the stereotypical view is just that, a product of your environment. And then as you grow and learn and evolve, you then start pitching what you feel then of...
Towards that sort of person.
Exactly,
Yeah. That race of people.
Yes. I'm starting a mentoring scheme. So a mentoring scheme which it will be based in London and it will be for everybody, but it will target the next generation of football players. But my mentoring thing is, it's my life mentality I take into football. So how I am in life is what I take into football. So, and that's what I'd want to teach the next generation. And it's the same. It's, listen, just because they say your face don't fit or your size don't fit, it don't make it so. And that's a life. That's not just football. So that's my mentality in saying that I'm comfortable in my own skin. Don't talk. Don't tweet back when you're emotional. Yeah. Don't do that. Like that. Just because they're trying to get at you, you are the only one that's gonna lose. I don't care if you say something witty back like, "Oh, your mum," you are going to lose. Negativity, for some reason, is more fashionable than positivity.
The minute I started Fresh Ego Kid, my football career went downhill because no one could take me serious in a way as a professional football player with I would say the dinosaurs want you to live, breathe, eat it, sleep it and everything.
There's been comments about Dele Alli, about Jesse Lingard, about looking to clothing companies.
Everybody that said that is old.
Other business interests, yeah, before they finish football. You know, would you advise players now to wait until they're done with their footballing career?
I feel like for their mental health, you need a break from football.
Exactly.
You need an out. Like if you
football. Ronaldo, look how much stuff Ronaldo does. He's the best footballer in the world. Ronaldo's got CR7. He's got second best. I'm Messi as well, but I just threw that up to validate my point. It is Messi. Let's not start that. But what I'm trying to say is, I feel everybody wants to jump on a bandwagon.
Yeah, but this is the same thing as the racism thing.
Yeah,
like,
but
are people just doing it just to like it's gonna sound weird to be cool, like because it's in to call someone a monkey or like it's just weird. It's like it's happening every week.
I don't get it.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't get it.
It's actually getting boring now. Like when I see it,
before they go to
yeah,
food and think,
that's what I'm trying to say. I'm looking at.
We've seen it everywhere. Let's do it.
It seems like things go through fads. So this has come back, and it's come back with a vengeance. It's not being funny. You know, in society, the racism's always been there. But for some reason, it's come back with a vengeance at the moment where it's now every week.
Like the whole Stormzy thing, like he's another beacon, like he's shining a bright light, but he's getting a lot of negativity. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Listen, negativity for some reason picks up a much more bigger buzz than positivity. Yeah. We'll know what you've done worse rather than what you've done good. You know what I'm saying? So when you're talking about needing a release, like football, even if you get up at 8 and you're done at 3 o'clock, you've still got the rest of your day. So there's nothing wrong with saying that, oh, well, at 3 o'clock, I want to go create a business line. See, what makes me laugh is they don't talk about Gareth Bale golfing for 8 hours. That's fine. So Gareth Bale can go and golf for 8 hours, swing for 8 hours, or because it was okay for them back in the day, they used to gamble. So their outlet was to gamble.
Listen,
but them man ain't gambling, so they're now trying to do stuff which, and then when things don't go right, it's, man should be concentrating on his football. Putting all his art into football.
Listen to this. When I signed for Shrewsbury, I was, first day, never met a coach, never met him. I don't even want to mention his name. All the new players had to give 30-second description of yourself. Where you from? Like, hi, Marvin Morgan, from Manchester, grew up in Watford, and I've got a passion for fashion. I'm about to start a clothing brand. Wait! Stop! I'm like, what's going on? You're about to do what? About to start a clothing brand business. Why? Well, I got a lot of time on my hands, so I'm thinking instead of gambling or doing some crazy stuff, I might have to put it into something positive. Your number one focus this season is promotion, and that is it. And I was like, well, I train till 1, 2 o'clock. What do you want me to do for the rest of the day? I don't care. You gotta focus. And then Captain Ian Sharps got involved and said, Ian, hold on, he's only signed today. And then he walked off in his half. That season, I started for Shigo Kid and we got promoted. And today is where we are at. And that's my thing. If I was maybe weak-minded or, we wouldn't be here today. You know what I mean? And that's the thing why we're going with coaches, leaderships, and whatever colour you are, the positivity's got to be somewhere, like, because you could easily knock someone off like that, and they're done, they're gone. I always say football is it is a horrible industry. What we're seeing now, if you've got the good people in the dressing room and they can look after the right people, I don't think it is like it was before, because there was a lot of it's bullying culture. You know what I mean? Because banter is that thin line. You know what I mean? And even with race, you know what I mean? I remember in dressing rooms when you could joke about certain stuff, you know what I mean? Can't do that no more. You know what I mean? So it's very, very, I feel like it's getting better, but there's so much work needs to be done.
Yeah.
So much work needs to be done.